Alright, I said, what is up, YouTube? We are actually about to check out, as you see I am on World Tier 3, so this is actually my, I wouldn't necessarily say in-game, but the highest that I could get thus far in World Tier 3 as a sorcerer, currently in Diablo 4. So as you see what we have here, 3,051 attack power, 4,333 armor, and almost 2,700 life, with 236 strength, 516 intellect, 234 willpower, and 319 dexterity. So for the weapon, I'm running a hybrid build currently, and we're going to take a look at those abilities pretty shortly, but I definitely want to just take kind of a few moments to just go over the gear really quickly, which you see it is currently maxed out. So for the helmet, I am running the Primal Bassinet of Protector. As you see here, it has 44 dexterity, 10.1 basic skill attack speed, 38 strength, 50 intelligence, with the ability damaging an elite grants me a barrier to absorb damage. The chest piece, as you see, 15 all stats, 50 intellect, 36 dexterity, with basic skills granting me 20% damage reduction for 5 seconds, which is pretty good. I can take some hits. My gloves, 5.3 crit strike chance, as you see more in the intellect section, 3 ranks of incinerate, 25.5% damage to injured enemies. And as you see, when I freeze the enemy, there's a 33% chance to become vulnerable. You're going to see why that particular perk plays out. With this piece here, as you see, another 45 intellect, plus 20 in all stats, 5.9 dodge chance, and plus 3 ranks of ball lightning. I heal for 19 life per second for each enemy that's close up to me. So whenever I get bombarded with enemies, I'm gaining health back. For the boots, 43.3% shadow resistance, 51% intellect, 37.6 fire resistance with lucky hit. Lucky hit is actually pretty cool. So for some of you all that's running lucky hit, I would definitely encourage you to explore that option. When I hit a CC controlled enemy, and there's a 44% chance that that particular effect will spread to another. So for example, if someone's poisoned, or if someone's on fire, or if someone is frozen, there's a 44% chance that that effect will hit another enemy. We're going to get into the weapon pretty soon, but as you see here with this necklace here, plus 3 ranks on all conjuration skills, plus 3 ranks of the Icy Touch passive, 7.5 additional % in shock skill damage, and then 22.5% damage for 4 seconds after killing an elite, which is a huge, and I do mean a huge, boost of power. And as you see, I have a 30% crit strike chance against injured enemies. When I am healthy, I also gain 60% increased crowd control duration, which is pretty freaking awesome if I do say so myself. The ring here, Ring of Abundant Energy, I get health regen, additional attack power and vulnerable damage, additional attack power and damage over time, as well as additional crit strike chance. So I'm kind of going for a hybrid crit strike chance build here. And then as you see here, Loop of Concentration, which also gives me more health, additional damage to injured enemies, plus additional life, as well as a 19.5% crit strike chance. And this one here has a mana regeneration perk. So for those of you that's running sorcerer, like to spam spells, spam abilities, this will really cool. This will really be helpful. If you could also mix in some cooldowns in this particular build also, which I'm thinking about doing. This will make it even more better. Now for the weapon, I got incredibly lucky on this weapon. Random drop. Rapid Jade Great Staff. Sacred Legendary Staff. As you see, it gave me 43.5% ultimate skill damage, which means my ult hits even harder. 28.5% additional damage to enemies that are CC'd. 43.5 basic skill damage plus 63 to all stats, with the perk of basic skills gaining 60% attack speed. So we're gonna actually take a look at this. Like, let me actually step out of town real quick because I'm not gonna be able to melee while I'm in town. But you're actually going to see how fast I actually swing. And this is going to be pretty crazy. So I should be about here. Okay, there we go. Like, look at this attack speed. Like, this speed is crazy. Okay. Look, these enemies right here. I'll show you. Prime example. I see I got a Paragon point, but I'll deal with that a bit later. But as you see, that speed was just bananas. Alright. So that is it for the gear and the weapons. Now we're going to go ahead and actually shift into the abilities. So with the abilities on this skill tree, I'm not even going to cover the Paragon tree because that's still a work in progress. But for my basic, I went with Arc Lash. I like to stun enemies. And then also there's some additional crit strike chances as well when you go Arc Lash. So I went with Enhanced Arc Lash as well as Flickering Arc Lash for the additional movement speed. I also went with Firebolt as well. What you're going to see, I really only use this for an enchantment perk. Oh, and while I'm getting attacked, they said that wolf was just so rude. Rude wolf. Okay. So back excuse me, back to what we were doing. So then as we move down into the core skills here, I went Devastation for additional mana, went Elemental Dominance for bonus damage to my core skills when I cast them above 50 mana. And then I also went with Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is pretty cool. I mean, who doesn't want to embrace their inner Sith Lord? I mean, I know I do. And I know some of y'all out there agree with me as well. So then as we move down into the defensive skill tree, I went with Teleport. Moving into Enhanced Teleport, as well as Shimmering Teleport, just for the 30% damage reduction. I also went all 3 points in the Glass Cannon for me to deal more damage, a point into Elemental Attunement. I also went a point into Ice Armor, so that way I can at least get some type of mana regeneration. I also went a point into Frost Nova, another point into Enhanced Frost Nova, and then another point into Mystical Frost Nova. And so then from there, we move into the Conjuration skill tree. For the most part, as you see, this is gear that's giving me additional points. I went no points into this tree here other than for the passives. Align the Elements for more damage reduction. All 3 points into Mana Shield. As well as all 3 points into Protection. Which means that every time I use an ability, as you see here, when I spend 100 points in mana, I get a shield for 15% damage reduction for 5 seconds. I also get a 30% shield of my max life as a barrier, which means I am always regenerating shields of some type, which is pretty cool, especially when you're dealing with either bosses or just hordes and hordes of enemies. And let me actually just kind of show you that defensive skill. So for example, as I just teleported, I just got that shield there. And then Use another skill as you see here. Got another skill there. And this is just an example. As you see, I am like always getting shields. Which, like I said, it's a pretty cool build. Alright, so then as we're heading back to the abilities, and we've just covered the defensive skill tree, we're going to get into the, like I said, conjuration skill tree, which we've already talked about. Here we go. We're here in the mastery skill tree. So you see I went 3 points into Icy Veil just to make ice armor last longer. I also went a point into Inner Flames, and then also went 3 points into Devouring Blaze, which will help me with crit strike chance. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why did I go into some flame passives? So as you see here with my enchantments, I have the Firebolt enchantment, and I also have the Incinerate enchantment as well. So as long as enemies are burning, in some type of way, I can actually take advantage of these passives, which is, like I said, pretty cool and makes a pretty unique build. And then for the ult, I went 3 points into Fiery Surge for the additional mana regeneration when killing an enemy that's on fire. I went a point into Endless Pyre, and then also went 3 points into Warmth, which actually helps me with health recovery, which is pretty awesome. My ultimate, Unstable Currents, increases my attack speed even more, and then throw all types of random shock abilities. I also went another point into Prime Unstable Currents, which increases my attack speed as well by 25%. I also went a point into Coursing Currents. Hitting enemies with shock skills increased my critical strike chance by 1%, and then this also resets upon getting a crit. And then I went 3 points into Electrocution. Enemies deal 15% less damage for 7.98 seconds after being critically struck by my shock skills. And then for the passive, I went Veer's Mastery. Close enemies take 10% increased damage from my shock skills and deal 20% less damage to me. And then Quick Strike increases these bonuses by 25% for 3 seconds. When I tell you this build is really, really, really good, and then not to mention you're tanky, let's take a look at this ult. Like, that is pretty bananas, if I do say so myself. But I'm telling you all should definitely try this out. This build is going to completely change when I ascend to World Tier 4. So definitely drop a like, drop a subscribe if you want to see more. Until next time, I'm out. Follow me on all of my socials. Like I said, it is greatly appreciated. But until next time, stay beautiful, stay bold, and most importantly, stay blessed, you all.